Alright guys, so last time we had done the more organic form, and now I want to come in and actually I want to do this building here, and I'm just going to kind of rough it in. I'm not going to go in and do all the little detail work with some of the joint lines here and the little bump outs, but that inset piece and you know, kind of all this other stuff. But I do just kind of roughly want to get the overall form of it kind of here, and you know, also get this cylinder over here divided up. So we're going to quickly kind of go in and we'll go to our top view here, and what I want to do is I want to actually create just a plane, and when I click and drag this over, I can change my segments to 1 and 1, and I'll do 110 feet and 110 feet, Z for zoom, G to turn off my grid, and then I'll come to my modify panel, put an edit poly modifier on that, and kind of go into my perspective view, hit F3 to bring up the shading, turn on my polygon level here. I can select the polygon level. Once I have that selected, I can come down to extrude here, or I could also do it from my graphite modeling tool ribbon up here. And what I want to do is I want to extrude this up 17 feet. And once I have that, I'll click accept. I then want to come in and do extrude this up a foot. Oops, 1 foot. And if I hit F4, I can actually see the division lines that I'm kind of creating in here, and I'll click accept. I then want to do extrude, and I'll do 9 feet this time, and I'll click accept. I then want to do extrude, and I'll do again a foot. And I don't know why Max is not letting me. For some reason I'm like entering these values, and it's I think it's something with the recorder going. That should be a foot if I hit one and then enter. I don't know why it's kind of freaking out on me and giving me like 7/8. But I basically just want to repeat that a couple of times. So I go back to extrude again, I'll do 9 feet again, hit accept, come back to extrude again, do a foot, hit accept, oops, not that, come back to extrude again, you know, do 9 feet. So, you know, I could do that and kind of build it up that way, but that was kind of how my colleague showed it if you were watching the workshop video. But you know, for my purposes, I'm going to kind of go backwards here a little bit, and I just want to come back to where I have a floor and a slab and a floor. So I'll undo this. So I have my first floor with a slab, and then I have my next floor. And I'm basically just going to work from this for right now, and start to add some of this detail into here. So what he actually did next was then he went into his edge mode. He hit F on his keyboard and Z for zoom to kind of bring it into the front here. He went into quick slice, and what he was doing was he was slicing his geometry. Now if you only want to slice certain geometry, you can go into your polygon mode, and you can select you know, if you want to make sure you don't get the back side, you can ignore back facing, so you only get the front side here. And you can kind of select your two things that you want to slice, and then you can come down and select quick slice in your list wherever the hell it is, or come over here and hit quick slice. And you know, if you want to lock it into place, it should be, I don't know if I have my ortho snapping lock on here or not. It looks like I don't have it, so I'm going to quickly just kind of add it and show you guys that you can add it, and then you don't have to snap to points necessarily, but you can lock in your ortho. So I'm going to come under my customize user interface, and I'm going to select toolbars, and then I'm going to look for my ortho snapping mode, which is right here. And since it's kind of the snapping in one of my directions, I'm just going to click and drag it up into this toolbar over here with my X, Y, and Z, and I'll click out of that. So now I can kind of lock this and click any 2 points, and what it does is it's snapping, so that's at 0, that's at 90, that's at 180, and that's at 270. So when I click again, even though I didn't snap it to some point, I still have that perfectly vertical line there. I can then get out of my quick slice, get out of my edit poly, and you can see I kind of have that there. So I'm going to go back into my edit poly, and I want to select these shapes. Maybe I even go into my vertex here. I'm just going to slide that over, make it a little wider, go back into my polygon, so that's my polygon. What I want to then do is come into extrude this out, 5 feet, and click accept. So once I kind of have that extruded out and looking all right, I'm going to then come in here and kind of divide this up for my windows. So I'll go back into front by hitting F, hitting Z for zoom, and I want to turn my quick slice back on, but this time I do kind of want to slice by midpoint here. So I'll slice it here, and then I want to come over to this midpoint, slice it here, come over to this midpoint, slice it here, just so that I have kind of even division of these guys here. And I could kind of continue doing that. So again, I would slice it here. Oops, do that. Slice it there. Slice it there. Grab that midpoint. Slice it there. Grab that midpoint. Slice it there. And I had my ortho snapping on, which allowed me to do that. So I'm going to turn that off. Then what I can do is I can come in, and I believe what my colleague was doing was he was actually coming in and giving these a chamfer, which I can access through here, or I could actually access it up through here as well. And once I have my chamfer setting done, I believe he did 3 feet, if I'm not mistaken, or he might have done, no, I think he did do 3 feet, because he wanted his windows at 6, basically 6 feet. So if I'm looking at my windows kind of coming across here as I'm expanding my shapes out from those original starting points, you can see my windows are going to be 6 feet here with kind of these columns here in the middle. So I'll just do these at well, I don't know, maybe for me I'll do them at 4 feet, just so I can tell, okay, that's a column, and those are windows like on either side of it. So I'll click OK. He then went into his polygon mode now. I want to make sure I get out of my quick slice here once I'm back in polygon, so that I can select these windows. Now basically these windows should be the same, so I can come into my polygon mode and delete these out, and I can select this guy, and what I actually want to do is detach this off. And I also at this point want to kind of start to set up some of my material IDs like we were doing before with the material IDs. Right now, if I kind of select everything, it's just on material ID 1. So to kind of set that up, I first go into my material editor. I select here where it could say mental ray material. For me, it's V-ray material. I select this guy. When this comes up, if I just type multi-sub object, I can double click this and it adds it. I'll keep the material I have in there as 1. Alright, so once I have my material sub object, I kept the first material. I'm just going to click and kind of create an instance of this, just to get some different kind of colors down here. This could be my glass, this could be my mullion. I don't know what that could be. This could be my brick, for example. Maybe this is like mullion 2 color. Just so you can see it's on ID 1, 2, 3, 4. So then if I kind of take this here and apply it to my shape, everything is on ID 1, so it's going to be that red color. I can then kind of click out of here, and now that that's applied, come in here and start to do my manipulations. First thing I want to do is come in here, grab my window, zoom into it, and what I'm actually going to do is I want to detach this first from the face. So I will come in here and I will hit detach. I could also just detach it up here, and I'm just going to detach it as detach to, actually just want to detach it, and then get out of my polygon sub object, come back here, go back into my editable poly, come and I'm going to change this to ID number, I think it was 2 for was one of my mullions. Yeah, so we'll just we'll go 2 here in my set ID. And if I kind of get out of there, you can see it's automatically changed colors just by changing my material ID. Then I can come in here and I'll do an inset by polygon. And actually, you know, before I do that, I'm going to come in here, I'll hit F for front, Z for zoom. I'll come into my edge and turn on my quick slice and make sure my you know, my thing is on here, and I'm just going to slice it there and there. Turn off my quick slice here, turn off my edge, go back into polygon, and then I'll go back into inset, just so that I have some divisions in my glass here a little bit. And we'll do like a 2 foot, 2 inch mullion, and click accept. Then what I want to do is I'm going to go and do an extrude modifier and do extrude settings, and I'm actually going to do by again by polygon, but I want to do go back -2 inches, and I'll click accept to kind of see what that's looking like. I think that's looking pretty good. Maybe I'll actually go back 3 inches, something like that. I'll click OK. You know, again, we could be using all the same features I showed you guys before, where instead of an editable poly, I do an edit poly. I can turn on then animate, you know, and have that inset, or have that extrude kind of modification, you know, able to be changed later on. And also I'm going to make an instance of this here in a second, so when I do that, I'll also be able to change that value in all of my windows that are instanced around. So I'm going to just delete that edit poly I dropped on there, come back to here, and lastly I want to change this ID to 3, get out of there, just so you can see that's my kind of glass layer there. And I just want to bring this out in front of my surface of the wall here a little bit. So I'm just going to move this out 1 inch, so just -1 inch. So you can see that's kind of my window. And if I hit F for front, Z for zoom, and then I got to reset my pivot here because it's set to the pivot point over here of my original shape I detached it from. So I do Effect, Center to Object, and turn that off. I can then come in here, hit S for snap, space bar to lock that in, hold Shift, and then go from point to point. And I just want to do an instance, and I think I have 4 of them over here. Maybe not. Maybe I have more. So I'll hit spacebar for lock again, and looks like all of them lined up. Looks like that one was kind of off there on the end. But then if I have my spacebar locked, I can hold Shift and just kind of click and drag that last one over, make sure it's an instance, and click OK. So now if I kind of come into say one of these windows and click on this guy, and then make the modification to the window, maybe I do like another inset or something, you can see it's doing it for all the other windows over here as well. It's not just that first window. So now they're kind of all connected and controlled. And even if I come in here and I say, oh, this is now ID number 4, you see it changes on all of these windows as well, which I think if I go into my material editor, ID 4 is my glass. So I do need to make sure that my glass is on ID number 4, and I can get out of there. And so that's kind of my window right there. And it looks like I even missed one of my windows here, so I can delete that out, come back in here, grab this, do S for snap, spacebar, hold Shift, drag this over, make an instance of it. And I want to turn off my ortho snapping just because it sometimes messes me up. I noticed it was on there when I did that, and it looks like it did kind of mess me up. It put it on that surface on the back side of it. So I want to select the surface again, lock that shape in there, and what I want to do is then go into my front view, hold Shift down, and snap it from point to point and instance it, and then hopefully I'm still out in front of that surface there a little bit, so I'm not right back up against that surface. Turn off my snaps and kind of get out of that selection. So I can have those windows going across the front side of my face there, and that's basically what I need it to be. The next thing I could do is focus on that drum area, and before I do that, I actually just kind of want to come in here. What I'm going to do is come into my front view. I'm going to grab this bottom floor, and I'm just going to detach this off as its own object. Then I'm going to come in and reset my pivot, center it to you know what, it looks like, let me come back into this object here, go into front zoom. I'm going to grab everything here, and it's ignoring the back facing, so it's not grabbing in my back faces. I'm going to undo the, or do select inversion, so I grab this last guy, detach this, so it's just that upper portion. You see my selection box here, the little white corners here kind of changed, and if I unselect this and come back in, I can make sure then that gets attached. So basically I have my bottom object is one object, and then the top object is one object. I come into front zoom, I can then come in and then take this whole thing here, and what I'm going to do is make sure I'm in my Y, hit S for snaps, spacebar to lock it in down here where the lock is, and then I'm going to hold shift and basically make an instance of that and copy it up, I don't know, 4 floors for example, just so that I have, you know, just so I have my building kind of going up there like that. And then what I can do is go into my top view. I'm going to quickly create a cylinder here by using a circle, and so I'll do something like that, move this over to the side here, something like that, and I'll put an extrude modifier on here, so I'll come back to my modify panel and I'll just kind of extrude this up. Whatever the value is, it should be some even number, so it looks like 67 feet gets me to the top, so maybe it's a little higher at like 70 feet for example. You know, and if I want to divide this up more, I can come down to my circle, hit show end result, come down to interpolation and get some more divisions in my glass in there, so I can do something like that, and just get more divisions within there in terms of how that is rendering out. Also in my extrude function here, I can also segment this up, so if I have all floors that are kind of regular, I can just kind of automatically segment that. But you notice my bottom floor is not regular, it's actually kind of offset here, so really I should leave this at 1 and hit F for my front, Z for zoom, put an edit poly on top of that, go back into my quick slice, hit S for snap, make sure my ortho snapping is on, and I'm just going to kind of drag over here to get my floors into place. So once my floors are kind of in place here, I can get out of quick slice and come back over, and I have my shape kind of divided up ready to go for my windows. I can even go back into my front view, turn my quick slice back on, go back into my edge, turn my quick slice back on, hit S for snap, and come over to these windows here and just kind of use them as reference for some extra mullions that come across the front of this drum of you know, this hotel, retail building, whatever, you know, whatever building it might be. And then what I want to do here quickly is I'm just going to go back into my front view, make sure I'm out of quick slice and snap for so S for snap, and I just want to come here and grab the top portion of this. And what I want to do again is create a shape from my selection, and I can do that right here where I create the shape and make sure it's linear, and I click OK, and then I come in here and get out of here. I hit Shift G to hide my geometry. I grab this guy, and what I can actually do then is give it some outline value. So say I do like a foot, and I'm just kind of dragging this up, and then I would do 2 feet and 3 feet and 4 feet and 5 feet, something like that. You know, if I wanted to, I could come in here, hit Shift G for my geometry, go into my segment portion of it, and I could, you know, delete out that portion of it if I don't need it, and maybe it's, you know, this is the south side over here where I want the sun shading, so I just kind of come in here and delete these out, but maybe I want some kind of symmetrical thing going on, so I do something like that. However I want to do it, and then I can put a sweep modifier on here, and you know, actually I guess I'll leave it on angle, but what I'll do is flip it around so that it's kind of something like that. You know, you can make it be whatever, and I'll just kind of increase this the length a little bit and the width a little bit, and I'll make sure it's on my outer edge. You can see it kind of shifting in to the inside edge of it or the outer edge of it. So I'll just make sure it's on the inner edge of it, and I'll give it a thickness of like an inch, something like that. So I have kind of something like that for my kind of geometry coming around here. And then you know, I can also take this, and if I again affect my pivot center to object under my hierarchy, come back to modify, you know, I can go front, zoom, so F, Z, and then Z, and then S spacebar, and hold shift, and I can grab one of these points up here along the top, and you know, just kind of come down to you know, this point, for example, right there, and do an instance of it. I think I have 4 floors, so something like that. And it looks like I kind of went down on my X and my Z, so make sure I'm in my Y. Hit space for the lock here, so I hit the space bar, hold shift, grab that point, and I'm going that point to that point, and then I want to do my 4 points there. And looks like it's not, for some reason it's not snap space bar, hold shift, bring this down, and try making 2 instances of it. You know why? Because I'm coming from this top portion up here, and it's not lined up with my floor. So really what I should be doing is I'm actually going to just move this first down to this point. Then what I'll do is with that lock still in place, the spacebar, hold shift, then I'll come down and make a copy of it from here to here, and I should be able to do 4 of them and have them line up with my floors, and now they do. And then I can come and take this same shape here, do the same inset to it. So so grab all of my polygons except for the top and the bottom, which I don't want to do. I can do and again, I want to make sure all of this is kind of on ID 1. And before I kind of do this, I'll get out of here, I'll go back into Material, and I'm just going to apply this to my surface. And since this is kind of all glass, we'll do select all again, Control A. I'll come down here, I'll make sure this is on actually ID 4 for glass, and then I'm going to deselect the top and deselect the bottom. You know, actually glass was wrong, it's the mullion that I want. So I do the mullions first. Okay, so now that's that green mullion color, same as my other mullions over here. I'll do my inset here. I'll do my inset by polygon face, and I'll do 2 inches, and I'll click accept, and then I'll do my extrude setting, and I'll extrude by polygon -3 inches, and come take a look at it. Looks good. I'll click accept, and then I'll change it to my glass layer, which is 4. And I can even come in here, and I had like some random layer which was like mullion 2, which I think it was actually layer 2, so I'll just leave it on layer 2, or I could turn it to layer 3 just so it's a different color for like my rooftop there. So if I get out here and have 4, you can see I have my mullions in there kind of quickly. I have some of my sun shading stuff. I have my windows kind of quickly set up. I come in here and, you know, detail those windows out. I could come and slice up this same surface over here as I need to, and you know, of course, as I do one, if I come in here and actually hit L for left and then Z for zoom, as I start to go in here, and if I go into my edge and go into quick slice, and I start to slice this up, what it's actually doing, it's really only slicing that top layer, but since it's an instance, it's doing it to all the other layers below it. So once I kind of have that one up there and copied up, you know, it's gonna basically populate down for the rest of them. So if I start to modify this top geometry, these other geometries are going to modify and update since I kind of have the bi-floor here going up and down on top of it. So that's basically it for this tutorial. It's just kind of, like I said, it's a very simple, very basic building. And if I actually open this up here again, you can see we very quickly just roughly roughed out the geometry of it. You know, similar to what we have here for the final image, and you know, obviously you would continue working on the other side and, you know, take a little more time in refining some of this stuff, but for the most part, that's how you would pretty much quickly do that stuff and get it kind of done and you know, out the door, just for kind of a quick conceptual kind of look at how to model something fairly simple, fairly regular. And I know it's nothing really exciting, but you know, at the same time, it's kind of like realities of architecture here kind of staring us in the face. You know, just is what it is, and you know, we have to also know how to do some of these more regular forms as well as some of these more organic kind of crazy forms. So I'm going to stop there. Like I said, that kind of goes over some of the stuff and just applies it to actually kind of working with the geometry and doing some of the stuff that we've gone over before. So hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you guys can start getting in there and knocking out some rough buildings, whether it's fairly regular like this or fairly organic like the other buildings. And if you have any questions, you know, just direct them to me or to Craig or to Sonal, and we can hopefully respond to them in some of the upcoming workshops. Thanks, guys.